Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Varun Sriram with Generation UCAN. Happy Global Running Day. I'm thrilled to be joined by none other than the man himself, Meb Keflezighi, four-time Olympian, marathon legend, American distance running legend. Meb, thanks so much for celebrating Global Running Day with us.
Thanks for having me. Happy Global Running Day, everybody, and I hope you got your miles in this today.
Yeah, Meb, let's start right there for you. It's Global Running Day. You're on the road in New York City today, doing a lot of fun activities around Global Running Day. What's your workout for Global Running Day? Have you got your run in today?
So it's great to be in New York, and the New York runners had a great thing going. The treadmill, world record on the treadmill. See how many people can run. I think 250 people running a mile each. So it's been going on for hours and all night, I think. So what I did today was I ran my 9 miles this morning in Central Park, and I did 1 mile run relay on the treadmill on behalf of the New York runners. So it's to bring awareness that people should go outside and get a few miles in on a Global Running Day.
Running, Meb, has certainly been a very big part of your life. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But just, again, want to thank everybody for joining us today. And we're really excited to have Meb kick off a great day of Global Running Day webinars here at UCAN. So we've got a wonderful schedule, several of our athletes, several Olympians, a lot of top coaches coming up for you throughout the day. You can check all of that out at generationyoucan.com/runday, and they'll all be available, all these sessions recorded after the fact. But Meb, let's dive in right to you and what running has meant in your life. How did this all start for you? When did you first experience the joy of running? Where did it all start?
Well, growing up in Eritrea was much of a labor survival that I was to do, getting water and getting woods to survive. But my actual official run was in 7th grade when we came here about 30 years ago, that our parents told us you have this unique opportunity that they didn't have, that our cousins didn't have, our uncles didn't have. So they told us, don't waste it. Work hard, work smart, get A's in the classes. So I don't know, you get graded for getting a running class, which is P class. So in 7th grade, our PE teacher, Dick Lord, said, if you run hard, you're going to get your A or B. If I see you mess around before running, get a D or F. But I don't want to disappoint him or my parents. I just ran as hard as I can. It was a mile run, and you have to run 6:15 for the mile to get an A or to get a T-shirt, Roosevelt Junior High Mile Club T-shirt, and I wanted both of those. And I ran as hard as I can to try to break 6:15, and to my surprise and everybody else's, I ended up running a 5:20 mile, and that's when my God-given talent was discovered. And he says, you're going to go to the Olympics. But growing up in Eritrea without TV or electricity, I had no idea what the Olympics were. And this was an Olympic year, 1988. And I kind of said, okay. And then I have to go home, ask my dad what the Olympics were. I tell them I ran 5:20 in the mile. And my two oldest brothers, Aklilu and Fisman, were running at Roosevelt. So they got the T-shirt and like I was going to get. And then they said, hey, Dad, I ran 5:20. I'm going to get the T-shirt. And he said something about Olympics. And he's like, don't tell the truth, don't lie. How fast did you run? I'm like, Dad, I ran 5:20. And he explained to me what the Olympics were. That's how I got introduced to the sport of running.
So obviously from that moment, running that 5:20 mile as a youngster, running has really taken you all sorts of places, and you've gotten the opportunity to travel the world through the sport. When did you kind of really understand the impact you could make on other people's lives through running? Was it after you won Boston? Was there, maybe after you won New York, where you realized, hey, what I'm able to achieve through running is really also inspiring a lot of other people?
I've been very fortunate on Global Running Day the run has taken me around the world, literally and figuratively, and I have run about 115,000 miles. That's around almost 5 times around the world, and for me, the first time that probably 7th grade was self-esteem and made friends, got me the A, and then at UCLA in 1997 is probably the first time that I felt, oh, maybe I could do this as a profession, maybe I can be an Olympian. Confidence within myself, that is, when I won the NCAA titles at UCLA in cross country and the double 5K, 10K double indoors. So that's when I felt, well, maybe this is something that I could do for a long time, maybe be an Olympian. But I know I was on this earth to be a runner more so when I won the Boston Marathon on a global note, because what happened in 2013 and catastrophic moment for all of us. We were all impacted by that, and I just happened to miss the bombing by five minutes or so. And I made that personal goal, say I want to be able to do something positive, but God gave me the grace to be able to pull the victory. And then I knew that I was on this earth to be a runner and impacting other people, not only nationally but internationally, doing something positive. So I felt that was a great honor for me to have impact on people's, and it's been wonderful to celebrate the career that I have, but more importantly, the most meaningful victory, not only to runners but also transcending the sport of running outside of the running elements.
And Meb, I know obviously Boston is something that will be forever associated with your name and that accomplishment of winning the Boston Marathon. But you've had many memorable marathon performances, and you're getting ready to just start the training for your 26th and what you say is likely to be your final competitive marathon in New York City coming up in the fall. I got to sneak in that what you say, we'll see. But no, I mean, but in all seriousness, in all likelihood, what's likely to be your final competitive marathon as you gear up to do this again, for the 26th time, to go through the training. What drives you today? Like, how do you continue to stay motivated to do this?
For me, it's that my God-given talent to be able to see that potential is fulfilled. And for me, that was fulfilled in 2014 Boston Marathon. Like I said, more than, the memories, like you said earlier, winning a silver medal or winning NCAA titles or winning state titles, they were the pinnacle that I want to achieve as an athlete. Each layer of levels of high school, college, and professional. To be my first time in Olympian, but the big grand finale was the Boston Marathon, to be able to win it and say, hey, my talent has been accomplished. But what motivates me to keep going is a talent can take you so far, but I shouldn't drop out so drastic. So I feel like I want to accomplish. I'm a student of the sport. I'm a student of the marathon. In honor of the marathon, been 26.2 miles. I'm going to run 26 marathons, and coincidentally, running is international, and I happen to be 42 years old. That's 42 kilometers. People call me I'm a numbers person, so yes, I am, and that's why I want to make New York City Marathon as my final marathon. And when I did my first one here in 2002, I did New York City Marathon where I finished 9th and devastated. And because I went for the win, and I said, this is my first and last marathon. I never want to do this ever again. But so now I'm telling you, I didn't know it was going to be 24 marathons later, but it will be my final one, and what a great way to finish in New York.
Yeah, that's truly amazing, to think of the journey from, you can remember it so vividly, running New York for the first time, right? And being like, no way, this is not for me. But that story, you tell it, it almost seems unthinkable now when we know what you've been able to accomplish in the marathon. Meb, something else you said that was pretty interesting when you were talking about running when you were younger, kind of how it was important for your self-esteem, and then even at UCLA, kind of your inner confidence. What about today? How much do you feel like, just getting up and making the training part of your everyday routine, like how much does that contribute to just helping you achieve balance or peace as a person? Like, is that is that something that you consider, just kind of like how running helps you just in your personal life outside of what you're trying to achieve competitively?
I mean, running is something that is attainable, it's tangible, that you can go outside and say, hey, I ran 3 miles or 4 miles or 5 miles, and then eventually you work your way up to 6, 7 miles. So you get that sense of accomplishment that, hey, I just ran 10 miles, and you feel great about yourself. I call it my running caffeine, to just get a little bit of energy to get you going and boost up the day. I love running in the morning. It's part of my blood, and even though I'm going to retire from competitive marathons, I still have to run 4 or 5 times a week, days a week, and to be able to just go whether it's 5 miles or 7 mile or 8 mile to get it done, and then occasionally participate in the half marathon and shorter distance. But it's all about enjoying what you're doing, and I do a lot of thinking when I'm going for a run. So sometimes for 27 years, it's been trying to execute as great workouts and great racing, and concerned to how fast can I get there and how fast, and hopefully ahead of everybody else. And now, in training and also in competition. But going forward, after, November 5th is my last marathon. But after that, I won't be happy the next week. As you know, I get beat up pretty good. So by the time Thanksgiving comes around, I think I'm going to be in good hands, and my body will feel normal, and maybe I can say, you know what, I don't have to go train, but I know I'm going to have to train on Thanksgiving Day just because I know I'm going to consume some calories. So, you know, got to be able to get your miles in sometimes before the celebration starts.
Well, I'm really interested to see you after running New York, because, you know, every time I've always seen you, it's always been when you've been thinking about something, what's next, right? But this will be the first time when we see you, you know, in December or whenever we do, that maybe you're just going to say, hey, relaxing is next. So it'll be a change for you. But Meb, you know, one of the things, as you've kind of gotten to experience all aspects of running, you know, you've accomplished a lot in the sport, but you've also become truly a great ambassador for the sport. And in traveling around to all these races, you know, you've had a chance to meet all types of people, I know, and people with all sorts of different running goals. What are maybe one or two things that have stuck out in your mind as you've been able to travel the country over the last several years, attend a lot of these races, talk to folks, you know, just everyday folks who are fitting running into their daily lives? What are one or two things that have stood out to you?
I mean, it's always great to be able to meet and greet people. That's been one of my God-given talents as well, to just greet people and meet them and ask them how genuine they're doing and things like that. But it's always fun to see, oh, you know, if they have a marathon and a half marathon, oh, I'm just doing the half marathon. You know, like half marathon is a long way, and you have to achieve that. Did you remember when you first start running and you can even go a mile or 2 miles and kind of put them into real reality? Don't say because you're not going a full marathon, you're doing just a half marathon. The half marathon is a long ways and a great sense of accomplishment. So, and I hear, and for me, I've been very fortunate enough to hear many people's stories. There might be people lined up, but some of them tell me, hey, I just did my last chemotherapy, or somebody just says, I'm writing a memory of this of someone, or somebody else saying, hey, I'm doing this run with my dad or with my mom, or 3 generations. You know, it's fun to be able to hear their stories. So we encourage each other and support each other, and I just try to be there for them to say, hey, you know, give them high fives or give them a hug and thumbs up, to be able to just celebrate their accomplishment. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
I know one of the things that's been really special for you that you've talked about is, as your kids have gotten older, being able to share some of the running experiences with them, you know, them being able to join you in Rio, your 3 daughters, for the Olympics. And then this past weekend, I know at the San Diego Rock and Roll Marathon, you had a pretty special moment, as we can see on the screen, with one of your daughters running the race with you. What's that been like for you as a dad, as your girls get older, to be able to share your love of the sport with them, and for them to actually, seems like they're enjoying it as well?
Yeah, for sure. You know, the kids are the product of the environment, so they probably think every parent's run and things like that. You know, and, you know, talking to Shalane Flanagan, she said, I remember on one of the interviews, she said, well, both her parents ran, and she thought every child's parents ran, so that was the norm. But this picture is Fiore, and on the back, right on her elbow, on the left elbow is her sister Sara as well in the background, and it's a competition within a competition. So she's driving pretty hard trying to get to that finish line. They're very competitive, and
is that your game thing?
Competitive. I'm competitive. So, but they really do enjoy running. And the next day after doing the 5K, they're like, Dad, can we do the half marathon? I'm like, it's hard to say no for running, but I have to say no because you know, Fiore was actually experiencing like bone growth, or she's growing, so she's been feeling knee pain and things like that. But I'm like, you still got to do it. It's only a 5K, but they're enjoying it so much that, especially on Mother's Day for her birthday, Fiore, we were looking at the picture. She wanted to go hiking for her birthday, and the others are like, why don't we go to a movie? So her birthday, we made a wish, and it happened to be Mother's Day the same day, and we went for potato chip in San Diego. There's a famous hike. We did that, and they end up being like about 13, 14-mile hike eventually. And so they're loving outdoors. Jordanos and I don't allow them to watch too much TV. It's a treat for them, but they go in the backyard, play soccer and other things. So it's fun to see them have that enthusiasm. But when I travel a lot, when I'm not traveling, they ask me to take them for a run, or more importantly, that Jordanos is there to take them for a run, because they say, oh, can we go to the track, or can we go to the park, and they want to run. So, and it's nice to know that they are initiating versus me saying, hey, you have to start running.
Yeah, and like you said, I guess it's no surprise with them seeing all the work that you've put into the sport that they would take to it as well. Meb, with a little bit of time that we have left, I just wanted to ask you, as you're getting ready for the New York City Marathon, when do you start training? Like, give us an idea for you. You know, we've got the marathon now coming up in November. I guess it's what, about July, August, about 4.5, 5 months out. When does serious training start for you for a marathon cycle?
For marathon training, it usually starts about, August and September, and October are the key months, and then obviously the first week of November. So the last 3 weeks, mid-October is where you want to get that mileage going and get whatever you want to get in. After that is just staying healthy, maintaining the fitness. And so I'm doing a Green Bay 10K this weekend, and then Boston Marathon, BAA 10K, and end of June. And then after that, just maybe take some time off for a couple of weeks, and then get started again in July. Slow base mileage training, and then eventually mid-August or August and September and October is trying to work hard, and by the same time staying healthy is the key. And as I get ready for my final 26.2 miles of New York City Marathon in November 5th, but the key is to stay healthy. I still have that drive. I want to be able to do well, finish in the top 10 or top 3, but you got to be realistic, and my body can't recover the way it used to do. So nutritionally, whether it's relying on Generation UCAN or elliptical for my cross training, and do as much work as I can, then fine line, not go overboard. That's really key for me to stay healthy.
You've trained for many marathons before, like we've been talking about, and you've trained for New York several times. So you obviously have a good idea what work is involved, right, in getting your body ready. So how does that kind of work for you mentally? Is it like, man, I know how much hard work this is, so you're kind of dreading it? Or is it like, hey, I've done this before, I know I can do this? Or maybe it's a little bit of both. Like, how does that work?
It's a little both, and your body is amazing. That when you condition the body and the mind, you can do amazing things. Whether it's winning silver medal, winning New York, or winning Boston Marathon, or making the Olympic team at the age of 41, and that's a balance. And for me, knowing that what I have done in the past, like running, in Mammoth, 15 miles under 5 minutes at 7,000 feet on a tough course. I know my body can't do that, so kind of reality check, and that's why I'm retiring. And the other side is, okay, the other times I have done is, okay, if I can run within 5:02 pace for 15, 16 miles, where there's a sea level or at altitude, I'm ready to go on the next whatever I'm training for the marathon. So it's a reality check at the same time by the body. Sometimes the mind says keep going, but the body is not as efficient, as not turning over as it used to be. So you want to work hard, you want to work smart, but at the same time you got to be healthy. And I'd rather be 85-90% healthy than be 101 and not get into the start line or get burnt out, as my last one especially.
Meb, just a couple more for you before we let you go here today. You just mentioned, as you're training for the marathons over and over again, different things take precedence, and nutrition has been one of the things that you've have to rely on more and more, or kind of focus on more and more as you've gotten advanced in your years. From a nutrition standpoint, just how has kind of your overall nutrition changed? What you've thought about changed over the course of your running career? What are you concerned about now that you might not have been concerned about 10, 12 years ago?
Well, as in training, I have definitely backed off. Instead of doing 130, 125 miles a week, I have to rely on my elliptical for cross training. And metabolism-wise, my body can't metabolize what it used to. I used to consume a lot more calories, and you run 25 miles or 23 miles, and you finish a whole plate. But now I can't do that, as I try to shed some weight, and so you have to cut back on calories, but also use a good nutrition, like whether it's a shake for Generation UCAN that I have after my tempo, interval, or long run. And I'm not saying don't eat any food, but that will get you, between breakfast and lunch until you get there. And then I have lunch at 3 o'clock and then go for my elliptical ride. So, or if I want to stretch longer or do my ice bath and drills, I'm not in a rush to just grab anything. So Generation UCAN to give you that sustained energy for 2 to 3 hours. And obviously, monitoring a lot of snacks, a lot of fruits, to keep you lean. And for me, I have to shed, like I have to be usually like to be 122 or 121 when I come south in November 5th, and I got a lot of work to do, but I rely on my generation UCAN and my Crave Jerky just to be able to just snacking throughout the day. Whether it's like the training, like I said, if I could run 5:02, I'm ready to go. But also in terms of for lunch, I'm gonna have to do salad and boiled eggs, and instead of having omelet with a toast and all those things. So you have to. It's a fine line like training. You have to train your stomach. You have to train your nutrition that way, and hopefully come all together for you. And with the training, with the nutrition, with cross training, and resting, which is as I got older, that's another key component, because I can't go back to back training. I have to recover and hope for the best when it comes all together. Sometimes it works like magic, and other times it gets really challenging.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective to hear, from the nutrition standpoint, kind of like you were talking about, just focusing on the snacks and making sure they're balanced, in terms of quality carbohydrates, good protein sources, so they can help keep you full as well. So it's a great tip and a great perspective. Meb, before we sign off, I did just want to announce something special. We are very excited to be launching our first Meb branded UCAN products today. So this is a spin on your favorite chocolate UCAN. I know you've got the products right there with you, the Meb chocolate tub and the Meb chocolate packet as well. So if you could just hold those up for us.
Just one single packet that you should always carry in your backpack, because whether you are working or whether you want to go for a run or after running, you should always be in your backpack or something to carry on. And when you're at home, I'm thankful for Generous Chicken for allowing me to have such endorsement to be able to say my favorite chocolate, and this one, it tells you all my journey through my running careers. So it has like Rio, London, New York, and Boston. So this is a limited edition, and I hope you support me, keep it at your house. And then you know what? When you're coming from a tempo, long run, or intervals, go out there and have it. You can.
Chocolate protein UCAN flavor, like Meb mentioned. So that's got the UCAN superstarch for the steady, sustained energy, and then protein for the recovery. Meb, just one final one on that. The chocolate UCAN flavor with protein. It's something that you've been using as part of your recovery routine for the past, I guess 7 years now, which is crazy to think about. What benefit have you seen in terms of implementing the chocolate protein UCAN as part of your recovery routine?
I mean, obviously, when you train intensity, it helps with the recovery immediately. That's the first thing that I put in. It's pretty simple. Like I said, the small packet that I show you, I put this in a 10 ounce of water and shake it in the shaker, and then you have it, and then you can go on with your day, whether it's to stretch and give you energy, but also at the same time, it eliminates a lot of the soreness that you feel after a hard, long run or intervals or tempo. So, it's just, for me, I've been utilizing, like, it's 7 years since I won New York, and it's been a great way to help me be lean and also be able to just recover day in, day out to put in a lot of work. And I know it's my secret weapon, I said, for a long time, but since I'm retiring, I'm willing to share with you guys.
That's very nice of you, Meb. And for everybody, for anyone that's interested in trying that Meb Magnificent chocolate, as we're calling it, will be available exclusively on the UCAN website later this afternoon, and you'll see that announced on social media and via email. Meb, before we let you go, last one for you. You're in New York today. You've got an exciting afternoon and evening lined up, doing some pretty special things. Tell us what you're up to the rest of the day.
We runners are very fortunate to be able to come visit New York. Many people dream to come visit New York. We get the chance to run to the 5 boroughs, and on Global Running Day today, I am honored to be able to go to the Yankee Stadium to watch a baseball game. But most importantly, I'm also doing the first pitch. So I'm super, super excited doing the first pitch at the Yankee Stadium, and it's going to be a great evening.
So we heard Meb tell us that his running career is coming to a close, but watch him tonight. We may be seeing the new starting pitcher for the Yankees, so you never know. But Meb, hey, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time this morning. I know you're running all over the city, but it's great to talk to you. Really, really great to have you kick off our day-long activities around Global Running Day. So just a pleasure to speak to you, and thanks so much for sharing your journey of running and your story of running with everyone in our audience.
Thank you, Varun and Generation UCAN, for giving me the opportunities. Like you said, it's a global running day, and go out there, have fun. If you have run, congratulations. If you haven't done, it's still got time to get a couple miles in, so go out there and have fun.
Awesome. And just coming up in about 35 minutes, we've got our next Global Running Day session with head coach Pete Ray of Zap Fitness and coach Amy Bagley of the Atlanta Track Club. They'll be talking about the power of training as a team. So make sure to join us for that one. But here we're going to sign off with Meb. So Meb, thanks again for being with us, and we will talk to you soon.
Sounds great. Thank you.